Oh, whoa.
Oh.
That's a great call. God damn it, I should have prepared. It's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
I was wondering if there's a part of you that would have loved if they had made the movie about the season 3 premiere of Saturday Night Live, because then you would have gotten to say Live from New York Saturday night.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Dylan was really angry about that the whole shoot. We were leading
God,
up to the final scene of the movie, and Dylan was just stewing. He just should have been.
Yeah, my whole relationship with Corey is inauthentic because of it.
Because as an audience, we're going, Chevy was great, but you know who would have been great to say it?
I know.
But it is kind of crazy that he had to
I
wait
know.
2 full seasons before he ever got to say it.
It's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah. I am sort of curious. I'm coming to you from Chicago. Dan Aykroyd has such a great Chicago history. He did Second City there for a while. Obviously, he did Blues Brothers. In your research,
for sure.
did you ever get any kind of vibe of what Chicago meant to him?
You know what's funny is I thought that I always grew up thinking he was from Chicago. Because, like, Tommy Boy, he does, like, a Chicago thing. And then, obviously, Blues Brothers and the Belushi relation. And I always thought he was Chicago. And what do you think? just endlessly fascinating how little I know about my guy.
No.
And then I found out through this that he was actually Canadian. Through this press process, not even the movie. I played at Chicago. And I can't remember. I can't remember where I was going.
Perfect.
The research on this was impeccable.
Impeccable.
It was incredible.
Thank you.
Obviously not the first time that you've played a legendary, creator of pop culture. I am sort of curious, as ridiculous as it might sound, any commonality between Steven Spielberg and Lorne Michaels? Is there anything that where you sort of, having done both experiences, you go, they kind of both have that in common?
I think they both knew exactly what they wanted in life very early on, and they had been working towards that since childhood, and that's something that I can relate to. I think that they just want to do something different, and that they know that they can, and that they're just going to work, tirelessly to get it done. With
Spielberg, he's there behind you, breathing down your neck because he's directing the movie. You don't speak to Lorne before this. How did those two processes, how was that different?
I think with Steven, I got to really talk to him and get to know him before we started shooting, and talk to him about his parents and his sisters and his time in school and his concept of his self. And that was really eye-opening because the material is so emotional and so only about the relationships. And that was the movie. But with this, it's just, it's not that personal of a story. There are so many, it's only about this one very tiny piece of time in 90 minutes leading up to it. And that just depended on how did Lorne get to that moment, and that's all I focused on, and how he worked his way up in show business to get to where he was and met all of these people and organized it, and then the script is all that matters.
That's fair. That's fair. Because of Rosie, we have some of the greatest comedic sketches, moments, characters in pop culture history. I'm sort of curious, what did you learn about her? If I were to sit down and watch all of the sketches that she was a part of from start to finish, what's the most important thing I could learn about her by watching those without maybe even talking to her?
I think it's kind of in the script too, like when we're talking about the bee costume and all of that. Like, I think she was really smart, she was ahead of her time, but like also more than anything, just like so funny. Like, I think when she's talking, she's like, it's postmodern. Like, and she even, it was so crazy because then when I talked to her on the phone, she said that about something else, and I was like, it's from the script. Oh my God, girl, there you are. And like, I think just like thinking, I don't know, thinking about things or like issues or whatever that are current in the time, but thinking about them in this like forward way and finding the funny in that. Is that a good answer?
That's a great answer.
Okay.
That's a great answer.
Sorry, I'm
no, you're
cold.
fantastic. These are long days, and you guys are doing a great job.
Okay,
you
thanks.
guys, as we wrap up,
Geez, thanks.
what is?
How was that?
This is genius.
Did you see that?
I saw that. That was gold.
We'll talk about that later.
What is the other SNL cast you guys would love to see the behind the scenes? If we were to do a part 2 of this.
Oh, whoa. That's a great call. God damn it, I should have prepared.
I think
Again.
I think Farley and Bob Odenkirk, David Spade, Adam Sandler.
Yeah, that's
Tim
a good
Meadows.
one.
Like around like the Chippendales, Patrick Swayze time and
Yeah.
Van Down by the River.
Or that, or even like, you know, as it blends into like Mike Myers and Conan O'Brien, and I think that would be, I think they are just amazing, brilliant personalities, and I would love to just see how they wrote, how they stayed up all night, and how they made each other laugh to build these sketches.
Yeah. So many of them came from Second City in Chicago.
Yeah.
Which is where Dan Aykroyd did some work. No, because he's not Canadian at all.
Obviously, I know. He's from the Chicago. Go, just run.
No, I love you guys. Seriously, I love this movie. Seriously, you guys are
Thanks.
amazing. I appreciate you guys.
Thanks very much.
Guys, good to see you.
Hey, what's up?
If you don't mind, I'd love starting out talking about Chicago.
Yes.
So many of the great SNL cast members have history on the Second City stage. You know what it's like being on that Second City stage.
Oh, yes.
What did your experience at Second City help bring to this project?
The chaos. You know, when you're at Second City, you're writing sketches. You're trying to see which sketch is going to get on. You're improvising in front of a crowd of people when you don't know if they're going to laugh or not. You don't know if the material is going to work or not. And with this show in particular, with this episode in particular, these folks didn't know if this was going to work. They didn't know if it was going to play. The execs didn't know if it was going to work. In some instances, the execs wanted it to fail. And you have this group of kids, really, who are trying to make magic happen. And Second City kind of coaches you through that. Second City is pretty much pre-SNL. You know what I mean?
Have you guys been?
To SNL?
No, to Second City.
Oh, no.
When you walk up the stairs at Second City, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, please.
There's all the pictures of all the cast members, and it's
Awesome.
it's everyone. It's
crazy.
Belushi, it's Aykroyd,
Yes, Tina Fey.
Chris
It's-
Farley, Tina Fey.
Yeah.
it's pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah. It's a hell of an institution. So I tell the folks out there that ask me about my career, and I always start with Second City. Go to Second City, and then you'll figure it out
You know,
from there.
Oprah did improv classes there
No
to
way.
learn how to
Wow.
react to people more organically.
Wow.
If it's good enough for Oprah,
Yeah.
Well,
if Jason Reitman had decided to make this movie about a different SNL episode, if he had decided to make it about an episode maybe halfway through season 1 where Richard Pryor was the host, or halfway through season 2 when Dick Cavett was the host, you guys would have gotten to say live from New York. It's
Saturday night.
Yeah.
Is there any part of you that would have loved to have gotten to do that? Do you know how they would have? Did you look to see how they said it at all?
No.
I saw Gilda's live from New York. And yeah, God, I would have loved to have done that, but I have to say that was such a special day on set,
Yeah.
watching Corey deliver that line. It also it came like 3/4 of the way through the shoot, so it felt like such a triumph that we got there.
yeah, it was a special thing. You know, the way we were shooting it, I was up on the stage, and the cast comes out, you know, and everyone's sort of like watching and waiting for this moment. So I'm looking out at all of these beautiful faces of people that I had become friends with, and got to say this legendary line. And there's a moment in the film where Gilda at the end is talking about having nostalgia for the moment in
While
which
you're
you're
still in
living.
it. Yeah.
And it felt very much like that while I was doing it. It was one of the times while filming where it was like really emotional for me, because I'm like, wow, this is really cool. Like as an artist, to honor this legendary institution saying this in this movie celebrating 50 years.
I was geeking out so hard whenever I was like writing down, like when I was at the screening, because I wanted to talk to you about that line, and I felt like Chris Farley being like, "Remember that time you said live from New York at Saturday night?" Like that was cool. Is there a balance between, because you don't want to just try to replicate him? Is there a part of you in that line?
Well, the part of me is just like the deep thrill of saying it. You know, it's the closing line of the movie. It's what the thing is building toward. So it was cool, but you know, I was always trying to honor Chevy with whatever I was doing. I studied this man so that I would have an idea of his instincts. You know, I submerged myself. I forced myself to watch hundreds of hours of this man.
I feel like the part of you that is there is that you were incredibly graceful on set. You were so kind to everyone around you. So we were actually like legitimately giddy
to watch him deliver this line.
Oh yeah.
It really was a special day.
Yeah. Even while we were filming, it wasn't that we as just the not the characters, the people were coming out to watch him say this line.
Yeah.
It wasn't,
That's how you know.
Yeah.
When everyone's coming out just to watch.
Yeah. I completely dropped character at that point. I was just like, dude, what's he gonna do? Let me see what he gonna do. And I was like, yes.
You've never dropped character in your life.
Man, I don't bring character to the
Yeah,
DVD.
DVD commentary. I got it. I don't mean for this to be the start of a heavy question, but obviously Gilda is no longer with us.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if you could imagine sitting in a movie theater next to her and watching this movie, and when it's over, you lean over and go, "What do you think about how I did this? What is the aspect of your performance you'd love to get her thoughts on?"
Oh wow, what a question. Just the thought of sitting next to Gilda, let alone like that I got to stand vaguely in her shoes while making this movie it's kind of more than I could process, the idea of sitting next to her. And it's been so touching to me through this journey of getting to know her, because I didn't know who she was when I auditioned. It's been so touching realizing just how many of the comedians and actresses that I grew up adoring have referenced Gilda or who learnt from Gilda, and now I feel like I've been passed the baton and she's taught me so much. Like, I would never have thought that this would be something that I could do before. And nobody is gonna be Gilda like Gilda is Gilda, and I don't expect people to be like, oh my God, Gilda's back. It's Ella Hunt.
Jay Farrow could do it.
But I'm just to have learnt from her and to get to spend some time showing people this behind the scenes side of her is just such an honor.
Your performance is beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
They're pulling me out here. I'm asking this question to everybody really quick.
Yeah.
One other SNL cast that you would love to see a behind the scenes movie of.
Ooh.
Oh wow.
Chris Farley cast. The Chris Farley. So many ups and downs, man.
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wow, that's so good. I mean, I feel like Tina Fey is such a significant player in that world that I would love to know her journey on that show specifically.
Are there like rumors that she might take over for Lorne?
Maybe.
No rumors. No.
I also think the cast that came in after the 1975 cast,
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Who could play Bill
Yeah,
Murray?
but that cast that was like being passed the baton first is kind of fascinating to me. Like, what would that have felt like?
I really want to see a sequel just to see the Bill Murray Chevy Chase fight.
Oh
I really want to see that.
Yes.
Guys, if you can't tell, this movie means a lot to me. You guys mean a lot to me. I love
Thanks
you
for
all,
being
and
here.
Seriously,
Thank you.
we
Yeah,
go back to the
cheers.
Gotham days.
Yes,
man,
we
so
do.
Seriously, I appreciate you.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.